Daniel Rodriguez. Hi, Rip. One of my wife's arms is 2 inches longer than the other. How should she deadlift? Should I have a handle welded to a bar for her? Would a 2-inch strap with handle suffice? What about pressing movements? I imagine a modified bar would be more difficult to manage in a pressing movement rather than a pull. Well, that's interesting. I don't think I've ever seen anybody with a 2-inch arm length discrepancy.
Yeah, it's quite a bit.
That'd be quite a bit to manage. He says that his wife and kids have a genetic bone disease called osteochondromatosis. Her calcium does not spread evenly as it should, and she gets calcium deposits that grow over time into nodules. Sometimes these nodules start rubbing against things they shouldn't. It's painful and only remedied through surgery. She enjoys exercise, but has always avoided barbell training and the preference of cable machines because she doesn't have to worry as much about symmetry with the cables. Is there any other advice you would give someone with such a bone disease and anatomical asymmetries who wants to start barbell training? Well, we deal with leg length discrepancies every day because they're very, very common. But an arm length discrepancy of 2 inches I don't think I've ever seen that. That's just not a common occurrence. Now, if she was going to deadlift, I would think that you can buy a little handle or have one made that would bolt onto the bar to even out that pulling length discrepancy. A press is going to be more difficult. Man, I don't know. In a situation like that, that might be one of the few reasons to do a dumbbell press instead of a barbell press. But that's going to be horribly asymmetrical. Bench is going to be a similar problem.
Yep.
I'm assuming she can squat.
For the deadlift, couldn't they just use some kind of a closed loop strap?
Could, but if it's 2 inches, I mean, it's going to be down down in the tips of her fingers. She holds
the strap like a suitcase.
She could hold the strap like a suitcase, but it's not going to feel as good as the same. What I would, if I was going to make something like that,
make a hook or something.
I would not make a hook. I would make a clamp that clamps around the bar that has a handle that is the same diameter as the bar.
Right. Yeah.
So that it feels the same in each hand. I would have something like that made to deadlift. And I think in her situation, deadlifts and squats might be enough to do. If she wants to do some presses with dumbbells, that's fine. But dumbbell presses for people that haven't been training a long time are they're asymmetrical, and you'll hit yourself in the head with the damn things.
Well, if they could clamp the bar well enough, what would be the problem with pressing a bar and having an asymmetrical lockout? I mean,
I don't guess it would be. I don't know. I've had no experience with that. Like I say, I have no idea. You may be able to get away with an unlevel bar at lockout, but if it starts to bother the shoulders, and I can see how it might.
It's going to want to go.
It's going to want to go to the down slope side. You're just going to have to be real careful with your lockout.
All right.
But
I would maybe not lock it all the way out. Just lock it out to the short arm and bring it back down.
That could be an option. Or press in the pins.
Yep.
Press in the rack and push into the pins, and set the pin at the short arm lockout.
Yep.
And that way you're not asymmetrical at the top, even though you've got incomplete lockout on the long arm.
Right.
I don't know. That's an interesting question. I have never had to train anybody like that, so I don't really know.